All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to CashFlow Tribe REI Uncensored 3-Day Challenge. So, want to thank you guys for joining us. Look forward to sharing over the next 3 days different strategies, hearing from different council members, speakers, trainers, and most importantly, for you guys, real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and business owners, so we can help you actually thrive and not just survive in today's current market environment. So we're going to get things started today by talking about kind of philosophy. And that philosophy is burn the ships and start making money now. So how many of you are familiar with the story of Cortez? I think it was back in the 1500s. If anybody is a history buff, please correct me if I'm wrong, where he and his troops sailed across the ocean and they were going to go to war against the Aztecs. And when they got there, there's different motivations that people have. Obviously, we have goals, dreams, desires. Their goal, their dream, their desire was to take over. There was lots of gold there to take back to their home country. So what Cortez did is when they actually landed there, rather than trying to motivate and pump up, his crew, his warriors, what he did is he instructed them one simple thing: to burn the ships. And by burning the ships, what that meant was there was no turning back. The only way they were actually going to get back home was if they won the war and actually took the Aztec ships back home. So when we talk about burn the ships, there are different ways to look at it. There is one, obviously up top here, I have a picture of burning the ships to represent what Cortez went through. But there's also burning the ships when it comes to other aspects of life. One aspect of life is losing weight. So I'm not sure if anybody on here has ever lost weight, gone on a weight loss journey, tried to, kind of change their bodies as well. But that's actually a picture of me wearing what I called my fat pants. And after you've actually lost weight and achieved anything, it's important to discard what you can retreat to. So by getting rid of those pants, what it allowed me to do is to look at myself and say, there's no turning back. I can't gain weight because the pants I bought that I've lost weight won't fit if I gain that weight back. So getting rid of what I call fat pants help with that. Other things, burning the ships. If somebody is looking at leaving their job, if you're truly ready to take that next step as an entrepreneur and investor, and you do have a 9 to 5, sometimes it means quitting that job or leaving that job, which stands for just over broke, and pursue other actions. Now, the picture on the top left, I put that in because sometimes we, really don't burn the ships. And you could, go in with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to quit my job, be there all day. And at the end of the day, you go home and nothing's changed. Well, if you have a flat tire and you actually drive into work, the odds of you making it into work the next day, not possible. Now, you probably don't want to do that because there's other things you use your car for more than likely. But that's an extreme example of how you can burn the ships to make sure you commit to the things that you want to do. So I want to take you guys through a quick exercise. And, over the next couple of days, we want you guys to interact. We want you guys to engage. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an assignment for you guys to do. And feel free to type in chat, if you feel comfortable sharing any of this. But I want you guys to actually take some time, write down a list of things that are holding you back from investing in yourself and also making more money. And, I'll give you some ideas, some examples. It could be a spouse partner. It could be you don't feel you have the time. It could be that you feel you have the knowledge. Maybe you don't have the self-confidence. Maybe you don't have the support. But whatever it is for you, I want you guys to take a moment right now and write those things down. Okay, as you guys are writing, the next thing I want you guys to do is look at each thing on your list and read it out loud to yourself. Now, how do those things make you feel? A lot of times, I think we are scared to look at the things that hold us back. Sometimes we're afraid to admit what is holding us back. So I'm seeing time and confidence. Yeah, absolutely. Those are two things. But we're scared to admit what's holding us back. And we avoid those things and we avoid admitting them to ourselves. That's why it's important to write things down. It's important to write things down, not only that we're after, but also things that are holding us back from achieving whatever it is that we want to achieve in life. So if you guys could type in chat once you're done, just so I know before we move on to the next slide. Again, this is interactive. In order for you guys to get the most out of this, I'm going to need you to participate. We will be providing some rewards and bonuses for those of you that are typing in comments, typing in the chat, doing homework as part of this challenge. But the only way to actually move forward and get the most out of the next 3 days, as I said, is to participate. Okay, we got one person says they're done. So far, one person is winning. Who else is done? Just type done in the chat. Wait for a few more people. Okay, awesome. How did it make you feel? So I'm going to call a couple people out that have been messaging already. Andrew, how did it make you feel? Just type in the chat, reading that list of things that are holding you back. And Jan, you as well. How did that make you feel, reading that list, writing it down, and reading it out to yourself? Okay, angry, stuck. Yeah, for sure. Wondering how to change it. Absolutely. I think it's important for us to ask ourselves questions, because in order to move forward, we have to, change. We have to change our habits, things that we do every day. So hopefully this exercise will help you guys. So I want you guys to actually take out another piece of paper. And on this piece of paper, we're going to write down the results that you want and the goals that you have. We're going to do the same thing. I want you guys to write them down, look at everything on that list, and read it out loud to yourself. And then share with us how you feel. Okay, Andrew said it feels good to be honest with yourself. Some are internal, some need to be learned. My confidence. Yep, that's something that definitely holds a lot of people back. So just like the last exercise, once you guys are done, please let me know in chat, because we're going to have a third step to this exercise. Now, for some of you might say, okay, well, what does this have to do with making money? It has everything to do with making money. If you can't look at what's holding you back, if you can't understand what it is that's going to drive you forward, it's very difficult to get unstuck. It's very difficult to stop feeling overwhelmed. It's very difficult to figure out how you can make the changes that you need to make. Done? Excellent. So how do we feel looking at this list? Now, this list is things that we want to accomplish. These are the goals that you have set forth, whether they are personal goals, business goals, investment goals. But these are things that, every day we wake up that we hope to achieve. So I'm sure the feeling that you have when you look at this list and read it out loud to yourself is very different than the one before. So Jen said, feeling hopeful. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to teach you guys a little trick. And I actually did this exercise, and I'm going to share with you, what was on my list of things that were holding me back. But this next step is very important. And I want you guys to, maybe not do this right now, but I do want you guys to actually do this as kind of your first homework assignment. And I want you guys to take that list, the first list that we did of things that are holding you back. I want you guys to get a match or a lighter or some kind of, fire making utensil. I also want you guys to fill up a bucket of water, find a fire pit or non-flammable garbage can or a safe place to start a fire, and burn that list. We are all going to make a promise to ourselves that starting tomorrow, because we're going to do that, burn that list tonight. Starting tomorrow, there's nothing that is going to hold us back. So if you said that confidence was holding you back, we're going to burn it. We're going to move forward. We're going to figure out how to become confident. If it is, a spouse or partner, maybe it's a conversation with them on what you want to achieve. Show them a list of goals and dreams and aspirations of things that are holding you back. Whether it's time, find more time, make more time. We all have 24 hours in the day. And, I've listened to a lot of, podcasts from, various people, and everybody has 24 hours in the day. It's what you choose to do within those 24 hours, what time you decide to go to bed, what time you decide to wake up with, and what you do at that time that makes a huge difference. So if time is something that is holding you back, you can figure it out. Burn that ship. Do not let that be an excuse for you moving forward. Do not let that be an excuse for you achieving your dreams. So can I get a yes from people in the chat that tonight you are going to complete this homework? And if you guys want to take it to another level, after you've burnt that list, take a picture before and after. And you can email it to events@cashflowtribe.com. Because we are here as a community to help support you, to help you grow, to help you achieve those goals on that second list. But it starts with you burning that first list and being able to move forward. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what was holding me back. And I don't know if you guys can see the picture, but this was back in 2017, so 5 years ago. And what was holding me back from achieving at the time what I wanted to accomplish? And back in 2017, for those of you that don't know me, I was actively trading. I actually actively traded from about 2009 till 2017. And what was holding me back at the time was raising capital. I felt that was a challenge. I didn't think it was possible. I was chasing money and not dreams. So everything that I wrote down that I wanted to accomplish, had to do with the financial and actually not what I wanted. And more importantly, not what I wanted to give back. Eating junk food. You saw the fat pants in the first picture. So I actually went through a journey of losing 50 pounds, which meant giving up chocolate, which meant giving up chips. I am not perfect. I still, every once in a while order a pizza, but it's no longer a daily habit. It no longer defines who I am, and I had to get rid of it. I'm not scheduling my day beforehand. So for anybody, again, that says time is a challenge, time is what's holding you back, schedule your day in advance. Do not wake up and let the day happen to you. You conduct and control your day. You conduct and control your time. And the other one was not sharing my dreams with loved ones because I was scared of not achieving them. So I don't know if any of you guys follow me on social media, but I started a 90-day challenge for myself, which is to hold myself accountable and really sharing my dreams, not only with loved ones, but with anybody that, follows me on social media, because I've had to overcome that. I had to stop letting that hold me back. So when I did this exercise in the picture, we actually did a board breaking exercise where we wrote everything down on the board and we had to punch through it. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 2017. It is a process. It is a journey. One thing that I want to, share with every one of you that is part of the CashFlow Tribe community, because you're here, is that CashFlow Tribe is here to support you on this journey, to help you achieve these goals, to help you get rid of the things that hold you back. So Jan said, I'm missing pieces of the process from where I'm currently am, and what skills I have and resources. Well, Jan, hopefully that's a gap that we can help you fill. And throughout the next couple hours today, I'll be sharing with you guys some links, QR codes, where you guys can actually learn more about how CashFlow Tribe can help. Some of it is just scheduling a conversation with one of our mentors, one of our coaches, to help you kind of figure out what is missing for you. What is that next step? And that doesn't matter if you're a seasoned investor or if you're completely new to real estate investing. We all need help and support in a community to take those next steps. So fear is something that I think holds most people back from doing anything or taking action or taking that step. And one of my mentors told me a long time ago that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Because a lot of the things that we are afraid of, a lot of the things that we think we can't, overcome or accomplish aren't real. When we were born, I heard that we have a fear of falling. That's like a natural human instinct. That's probably why I'm still scared of heights, although I'm really tall, but I can't get on a ladder. But falling is a potentially rational fear. Being afraid of investing in yourself, that is not real. I remember listening to a podcast, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I'm not by any means advocating if you are somebody that is of the age going into college, university, if you're somebody that have kids that are getting to that stage, not going to college or university. But what this individual said is that, people go to college or university because that's what they're told to do. And the way he looked at it is university or college will probably cost you on average maybe 20 to 25,000 a year. My business partner actually has his son starting, and I think it's like 22,000. So instead of investing $22,000 a year to go and get a diploma, get a degree, what if you invested that in yourself? What if every year you committed to investing $20,000 a year in hiring a mentor, hiring a coach, learning a skill, starting a business, doing something that's going to take you from where you are today to where you are in the future? So for those of you that are older than, let's say, 18, 19, 20, that did go to college or university, how has that investment in college, university kind of changed the direction of your life? Has it, brought you to a place where you want to be? Or did it just provide you with a piece of paper that got you a job? Definitely, it is a lot of money to invest in yourself. And one thing that we have to look at as investors, and if we are pursuing money, and if we want to make money, we have to invest in ourselves first. Period. Like, there's no better investment than investing in yourself. Anybody that has succeeded in life, they've invested in themselves. And sometimes it's financially, sometimes it's with time, sometimes it's a combination of both. Becoming wealthy and becoming successful is not something that, you wake up tomorrow and you have everything that you want and need. It is a journey, but you have to invest in yourself first. And Jen, you're right. Hindsight is great. And I'm in the same boat. I, wish I would have heard this message back when I was 18, 19, 20. But at the end of the day, it's not too late. Because we have hindsight, we also have, more experience, more knowledge. And I'm sure anybody that has achieved anything in life, and, even for those that, have had success in their careers, in business, do you think they would trade? Let's say you took Warren Buffett. I don't even know how old Warren is. I don't, like 80 something, 90 years old. And you gave him a choice. Either he could be the age he is today with the billions of dollars that he's made throughout his lifetime, or give him 60 years. What do you think he's going to pick? For sure, 60 years. Being in his 20s with all the experience and knowledge that he's gained over the time, he would start with nothing to get the time back. Absolutely right, Catherine. Because time is everything. Anybody that says time is money is wrong. Time is everything. It's the one thing that we cannot earn more of. It's the one thing that, we have to look at it and have to look at ourselves and look at our lives and say, in this very moment, we are the youngest we will ever be for the rest of our lives. So if we're going to be the youngest, we are right now in this moment for the rest of their lives, when is the best time to challenge ourselves to do what's hard? When you're young or when you're old? Best time to do something difficult in life is when you're young. And so for us, no matter what age you are, it is right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not the day after. It is right now. So as we kick off the next 3 days with real estate investment uncensored, we're going to cover a lot of topics. And all of these topics are in place to actually teach you strategies in real estate investing, in business, in entrepreneurship. So the next person I'm going to introduce to you is going to talk about short-term rentals. It's definitely a viable strategy, working very well in this uncertain market that we have right now, that is also volatile with high interest rates. So he's going to share his story with you, and I'll introduce him in a couple minutes. The other thing is investing in yourself. We're going to have one of our council members and coaches talk about the importance and what he did, how he decided that today is the day that he was going to change. We're going to teach you about additional streams of income, even outside of real estate investing. And we have the pleasure of having CashFlow Tribe CEO Hanna deliver that. We'll talk to you about private lending, raising capital, investing with no money or no credit. So if you're somebody on here that, you wrote down on your piece of paper that not having money is holding you back, or having bad credit is holding you back, there are strategies and things you can do within real estate investing to overcome those. So make sure you burn those excuses, because we're going to show you how to do it. We'll also talk to you about flipping, and most importantly, how to take action. There's a difference between knowing that you need to take action and knowing how to do it and ultimately doing it. So over the next 3 days, we are going to challenge you to take action. So again, I want all of you guys that wrote down what's holding you back and what you're after, burn that first list. Take a picture of it before and after, and email it to us, and I'll put the email address up for you guys to do that. And so before I introduce Keith, I just want to say that we appreciate you guys spending time with us. Again, time is our most valuable resource. It's one thing that we can't get back. And as we go through the next few days, feel free to share your experience with us on social media. A lot of you guys are joining us either on Facebook, YouTube, possibly even LinkedIn. So make sure you share what you're learning and what you're getting out of today. And with that, I'm going to bring on Keith. Hi, Keith. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Kurt. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So before I turn it over to Keith, I just want to tell you a little bit about him. So Keith grew up always wanting to be his own boss, and he kept getting fired from various jobs. And he realized, even though his bosses, had him on the job, they wanted the same thing. So he was running his own video game studios for over 15 years, and it taught him a lot about building a business and scaling them to up to 40 plus employees in studios across Canada. Keith started investing in 2011, and he moved out of province and realized that someone paying off his mortgage was an opportunity not to pass up. He then built up his video game business. He turned back to real estate investing in 2018, and since then has focused on doing BRRRRs, wholesale, has been a private lender, borrowed private money, but also more importantly for you guys, has done short-term rentals. And he's really growing and expanding that business throughout Canada. So with that, Keith, I will turn it over to you, and I'll pull up your presentation here. Let me know if you're able to move those slides across, and take it away.
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to move the slides. If you have any suggestions, let me know on how to do that.
So on the bottom.
Uh-oh. Lost you there, Kurt. Okay. If that's not going to work, what I can do is I can share my own screen. Hopefully, everybody is still hearing me. Oh, we lost you there for a second, Kurt.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. So if you just click on the bottom, you can share your own screen.
Perfect. Okay. Do, do, do. Let's go to, oops, share screen. I'll do that. All right. So hopefully you can see the screen that I have. Let me just maximize that for you. Um, Sorry, didn't get much of a precursor to this for the training, so I'll just leave it like this. I hate it when people are looking at all the little notes, but unfortunately, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to talk today about short-term rentals and why it's one strategy amongst many in the current market, which is just a fantastic model that will allow you to grow a real estate portfolio while protecting the assets that you have. A lot of people have that I'm talking to lately are purchasing properties for flips. They were able to complete the renovations, maybe a little bit behind schedule, but the market has changed quite a bit since where we were back at the beginning of the year. Selling a property now is usually at under market value or what they expected the market value to be at the time when they were doing those renovations. So they're now holding on to these properties, trying to find a way how to uh, keep hold of that asset, generate some cash flow. Sometimes they're locked into some very high interest mortgages, whether they're through secondary financing, through private lenders. There's a variety of different ways to do that. Um, and they really can't afford it through a traditional mortgage where the rent won't be enough to actually cover the cost of the mortgage and the holding costs. So short-term rentals is actually one of the ways that one of the areas where they're turning to. And the reason why is that, in short, cash flow from short-term rentals usually is about 2 to 3 times the local market rent. And when you get into higher plus or Lux listings, it can actually achieve 5 to 8x, which is phenomenal. If you're normally getting, say, 2,500, and then you can turn around and make 10,000 in a month, it's just phenomenal in those cases. So, just to introduce myself, and thank you very much, Kurt, for the introduction there. I'm Keith Maxey. I've really started in 2011 with my real estate investing. I moved out of province, kept my home, made all the mistakes. I just assumed that hiring a property management company would be a perfect way for me to do that. By uh, you know having them handle the taking on the tenants and placing them and getting their checks and everything else. I quickly learned that I needed a power team, and I know you're going to hear from some other people over the next few days that that's one of the things that you're going to need to focus on. But really, I was focused really on my video game career for the past 20 years. I ran my own studio for the last 8. I actually had 2 studios over my career. And when I really when it came down to it in 2019, 2018, I really refocused. And in 2019, I started um, looking into short-term rentals. I actually had this job. I was terrible at it. I hated it. I don't think they liked me, but I had nothing to do for 6 months. It was wild. So all I did was watch real estate investing videos. And it was just a great way for me to learn about different strategies. And one of the ones that I really gravitated towards was short-term rentals. I'll get into the reasons why a little bit later, but it really felt like this was going to be a home run for me. So I took a primary residence. I'd moved out and into a new house, and I kept my old one, converted that into a short-term rental, furnished it, got some cleaners involved, and really started getting ready for it. And then the most amazing month ever happened. It was a wild ride. So as you see, I launched my short-term rental. A week later, we had a lockdown in Ontario. This was in 2020. So, we were in lockdown mode 1 week after I launched. However, I was able to secure a 3-week reservation within 4 or 5 days. It took a little extra time because nobody knew if short-term rentals were still viable or even available. The laws were changing. Um, Within a few days of me launching that, I actually got fired from the job, which was fortuitous because I also was ready to leave and to really focus on heading towards uh, like getting into more networking and getting into council. I knew about CashFlow Tribe Council. I was very interested, and I finally had that opportunity to join. So I did, and that all took place in that same month. So really, when it comes down to it, Garnet Wealth and Property Management, this is my company that I formed in 2020. Really, it was designed around creating it for tax purposes, tax strategies. If you're interested in what those are, reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. I took the time to focus on education, getting in with different coaches. I've been a 9-time super host now in a row. Lately it's been harder to maintain, but it is something that I've been able to do. Um, I'm hosting all across Ontario, Alberta, down in the Caribbean island of Antigua, and soon I have a location in Newfoundland coming up. So I'm quite experienced now with all the locations that I have. I'll be growing to about 35 at the end of September. Probably more, but right now I'm slowing things down a little bit just to focus on what I actually have. And I've recently been invited to the Airbnb Ambassador Program. This is for superhosts who are basically known for their mentorship and leadership in this space, and I can actually assist other Airbnb like new hosts on Airbnb to help guide them and train them. And again, one of the things that I really like doing is making sure that there's opportunity enough for everyone. I love helping other people. I love being able to provide mentorship when possible. And I'm also scaling not only across Canada, but also into the US into the very near future. We already have some plans with our team. We're moving forward with those. I actually have my operations manager who is in Calgary, Alberta. He's actually on a plane right now. And right after this presentation, I'll be hopping over to the airport to go pick him up. So I'm very excited about that. So, what is short-term rental? This is what you're really getting into here. So really the idea is that you're renting out to a guest. It's usually going to be for less than a month. And it depends really on what area you're doing it from. Different municipalities, different provinces, different states, different counties, wherever you are in the world, everybody has their own set of rules, standards, and guidelines and restrictions in regards to short-term rentals. So please be aware that there are legal repercussions if you're outside of those rules. People always say, like, how do you work around those or where are the loopholes? It's not a loophole. It's just, there are ways to make this happen and very legally, very appropriately to make that happen. However, be aware that depending on, again, where you're at, it could be anywhere from 28 to 31 days. I say 20 to 30 days or less. Really, it's that the design is so that depending on the location, you have to balance out. Like, take the town of Wasaga Beach, for instance, in Ontario here. Um, Wasaga Beach will require you to have 28 days or less, but the landlord tenant board says classify short-term rentals as 30 days or less. So you have to err on the side of caution. Go with 28 days or less. Otherwise, Wasaga Beach is known to smack some people with a $10,000 fine. It's not something that you want to play with. You really want to make sure you're aware of all legal ramifications of doing a short-term rental. Not here to scare you. I'm just trying to inform you that there are, some things that you'll have to be aware of and do your due diligence on. And basically, a short-term rental is like you're gonna create a place, you're gonna have a nice place for people to go to. You want to make it as homey and cozy as possible. Throw blankets and pillows are great. Extra charge cables are good. Board games, books, any kind of entertainment. And we're in Canada, obviously, half of the year. It's make sure Netflix at least is on that television. Make sure there is a television. So I've seen some places without that. Um, so really, it's about making sure that these guests have a place where they can go relax, rest, and deal with. Just having that moment to operate in their own privacy, whether it's in a shared room, a private apartment, or a whole house. There's different ways that they can actually operate. And really, like, you need to get this onto a marketing platform. Airbnb is the most number one common platform that everybody's familiar with. However, there are other platforms out there, Verbo, Booking.com, just to name a couple, and it allows you to get more eyeballs really looking at your listing. And that's what the name of the game is. You're trying to capture all of that, all of those viewers, and turn them into bookers. What do they say? Lookers into bookers. So having that is a really important strategy, and knowing the customer journey of how to do that is really important. The guests interact with you. They ask you questions about your place. I had this morning a question about a high chair. The answer was, no, I don't have a high chair, but I'll order one for you, because I already had a baby crib and I figure I needed some more baby items anyway. Um, there's a lot of different requests that you get as well. Some people are just going to ask questions and not even book, and after you do this for a while, you'll see which ones are which. uh, but these guests will come, they stay, they make a mess. Everybody does, and then they're going to leave. Some people are really great. They'll do the laundry, wash the dishes, get everything ready for you. Some people try that and do a terrible job, and you have to rewash all the dishes anyways, or redo the laundry, and others just leave a mess behind. So you have to get your cleaners in, or if you want to do it, you can be the cleaner, um, to go in, get it all ready for the next set of guests, and do it all over again. And sometimes you're actually going to be booking more than one guest at a time, where you'll book a guest on, say, Monday, and you have another guest coming on Thursday in the same week. So some reasons why short-term rentals are really great. And I've already said cash flow is number one. It's an amazing time to be in short term rentals. Here in Kitchener, Ontario, where I am, um, it was listed by AirDNA a couple weeks ago as one of the most profitable cities in Canada, one of the top five in Canada to actually host a short term rental. And it really has proven itself. I have a property where normally in a summer month I can make about 8,000, $8,000 in for July, maybe in August, and for the month of July I had an $11,000 set of reservations and bookings. So in 1 month I was able to cover, you know, a number of months of holding costs, mortgage, utilities, everything else, property taxes, insurance that I have on that property. So there really is a great opportunity to make some really good cash flow when you know what you're doing. And the other part is short-term rentals is a great opportunity for people who are looking at starting out in a real estate investing journey, but they may not have a lot of capital. I was talking with somebody yesterday, a mentee of mine, who is looking at how does he grow in scale when he only has like $10 to $15,000. And there's a lot of different avenues that he can take. He can find a one-bedroom apartment. He could rent it, and you're paying first and last month's rent. You're furnishing it. You can use credit cards. You can lease furniture. You can find different avenues in order to get what you need to get that place ready. Or you scour Facebook Marketplace and find everything used as much as you can. So there are a lot of opportunities with what's called Airbnb arbitrage, or just arbitrage for short-term rentals. The arbitrage model allows you to get a place. You're going to be there for at least a year because you want to get that lease as going out as far as possible. The longer you can be there, the better it is. It usually takes about 6 to 12 months to capitalize on the furniture that you put into a property. And if you're able to get a few good deals, you can actually make your 100% profit very, very quickly in less time. Now, if you don't have that much capital, but you're really interested, you have a lot of time and energy on your side, then the other opportunity to get into is management. So, management is where instead of you putting in the furnishings, it's actually going to be um, the owner that will be putting in the furnishing, and you're having a contract with them. You're performing property management tasks, all specifically around the short-term rental strategy, um, where you're going to be handling all the communications. You're going to help with the photos. You're going to help organize the cleaners. You're going to help deal with any of the guest issues that may come up, including any insurance issues. So there is a lot of things that you'll be on top of. But for that, you can actually make quite a fair range in property management fees, which is usually around 15 to 30% of the gross rental or the gross rental revenue that you would actually achieve through the short-term rental platform. So, for instance, in that property I was telling you about, if it was, let's say, $10,000 that I made in a month, and you had a 25% fee, then you would be making $2,500. You don't own any of the furniture. You don't own the property. You may have a little bit of software costs in order to manage, but it's about all about your time and your processes and your knowledge that you're actually getting paid for. And that right there is a fantastic model where if you don't have the capital in order to put all the furniture into a property, management is a great way to go. Um, the other part about short-term rental is that it can be used in a temporary fashion. For instance, if you know that you have a property, you have some plans for it, you have, say, 4 months that, before you're going to sell it, you could actually list it as a short-term rental, have it generate some revenue, some cash flow. Maybe you already have some furniture that you can repurpose and reutilize for that. And that would be a great way to not let an asset just sit there and, not do anything except drain on your holding costs. So it's a great way that you can actually use it just for a temporary fashion. And then if you do it right, every short-term rental property, especially if you're purchasing it, you should always calculate your numbers as if it's a long-term rental. And the reason why is that worst case scenario, city might change their regulations and they don't allow for short-term rentals anymore. Maybe you can't switch into a mid-term rental strategy. Maybe you actually have a friend who needs a place and you're willing to give them a deal. Have it operate as a fully furnished long-term rental and have your numbers calculated beforehand that you're going to be able to generate revenue and profit off of that. And then another part, and this is one that I really love, is that 24 hours after a guest checks in on Airbnb, I get paid. In Verbo and Booking.com, I actually get paid in advance. So they make the reservation, I get paid up front. These are great ways to know that you're actually getting paid for their stay. So it is very quick in terms of that cash flow. You know that if somebody's there, they're actually paid in advance. In Airbnb's case, they actually pay up front, and then Airbnb will release that money to you within 24 hours of the guest checking in, just in case if there's some issues with their check-in or they cancel or decide to go somewhere else. That does happen from time to time. It's not very common, but at least you're prepared for those. Right. So, why short term rentals is not for you. So, depending on your personality, this might not actually be the right strategy. It is an extremely active business. You're dealing with cleaners, inventory management. Sorry about my things popping up here. If I turn off my notifications, it'll wind up turning off my internet. I don't know. But in regards to the short-term rentals, yeah, very active business. You're dealing with cleaners, dealing with communications, dealing with inventory management, guest management, a lot of different things. Dealing with insurance. If you're furnishing a place, you then have vendors that you're dealing with. Um, if you do things like a welcome basket, even if you don't, like, you still need to stock it with consumables such as toilet paper, paper towels, um, and a variety of different things in order to make the home really feel like a home and ready for those guests. It is also a customer service role. Number one, it has to be about putting that customer first. That guest experience has to be the best experience that they have. So it's really dependent upon having really good customer service skills. Also, communication. You're, like I mentioned, you're talking with the cleaners. You're talking with, perhaps you have another property management company that's helping you out with the physical property maintenance. Um, Maybe you also have other vendors that are helping you out beyond just the cleaners, unless if your cleaners are internal, which could happen. But there's so much communication that's going on a regular basis. At first, like, you can handle one, two, maybe three, but between three and five is the time where all of a sudden you're going to need help. You're going to be run just roughshod with just the total amount of communications that are going on. So you can always hire virtual assistants that need training. You could hire a local person to help you out. Your cleaners could actually do some of the work for you, which will cost a little bit. Communications very active in that regard too. Also, if you're looking to actually turn this into a business rather than a one off, then you need to have processes. The processes are there designed to help how to actually onboard a property, from writing the listing description to taking the photographs, to making sure that everybody on your team is notified of a property going live or whatever it is. And those processes, you need to have a process for everything. Um, and the best part is this is a business that is honestly infinitely scalable. I know of a number of hosts who actually have thousands of listings, and I'm always in awe of that. And I'm thinking here, like, I have 35. I remember when I thought eight was a lot. I remember when I thought three was a lot. And we're all at a different path on our journey, and there's always more to look forward to. Um, Having those processes will allow you to get further along that path. Security is really an important topic when it comes to short-term rentals. What happens when you have a group that's having a party? And Airbnb has a no party policy, global ban on parties. But what happens when a party takes place? You have to know the steps, how to actually perform to stop that party in its tracks. There's a number of security devices that are out there, from noise detection devices to electronic locks, um, to what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Oh, yeah, cameras. Very important to know the laws about cameras, and the laws can change depending on the country, province, or state that you're dealing with. Um, and knowing how to deal with, like, whether or not, if you have somebody, and this has actually happened, how do you deal with somebody who, say, has been drinking a little bit and now is uh, not clothed on your front porch? What do you do then? So these things can happen, and you have to be prepared for them. There's something that you have to, you know, uh, expect the worst, or prepare for the worst, but expect the best. Is probably the best way I can describe security. Just be prepared for all of those eventualities. What happens if a fire takes place in your home? Are you properly protected? Are you properly insured? Do you have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguishers? Do you have 911 posted all over, whether it's in a guidebook or anywhere else? These are all different things that you have to take a look at. And then as well, it's a whole new language. You're dealing with occupancy rate, average daily rates, benchmarking, RevPAR, all these terms and slang that goes along with any new industry is something that you're going to have to learn. Um, and if these are things that hold you back, then I wouldn't suggest getting into it. It is a whole new um, issue that you're a whole new industry, I should say, that you're dealing with, and it can become quite overwhelming at times. But if you take your time, do your research, and you start building up slowly, and learn by doing, it can actually be a phenomenal experience. I know other people, even in council, who are quite accomplished hosts and super hosts that have started with. Obviously, we all start with one and we go from there. All right. So, how to start your first short term rental? It can be quite daunting. It can be quite a challenge. There's obviously a lot of things to actually get involved. First, you have to find your place. And like anything else, like if you're doing any other real estate investing, you need to make sure that you're getting a deal. Is it something where you're going to be able to make money on? So, the first thing that you need to do is actually review whether or not this property is going to be financially successful. There are properties out there that are not that successful. If you take a deeper dive into those, you can find that maybe they have poor photos. Maybe they have poor reviews as a host because in the review process, the guest can review the host while the host reviews the guest. The host is usually reviewing the guest to let other hosts know whether or not you should book them in or not. And the guest is reviewing the host to letting other guests know whether or not their place was accurate, clean, and provided all the amenities that were promised. So you really want to make sure that going back to what I was saying, you want to make sure that this is something that's going to generate revenue for you. So you really have to pay attention to those individual listings. You can find AirDNA is a great tool. There's other tools out there. See Transparent, I think it's called All the Rooms is another one. Basically, they provide some data, usually as a fee for service, where you can actually look at a specific market in order to find out exactly how much that property could potentially make at the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, and in some cases, you can even put the quality level of the property. It doesn't really evaluate plus or lux. It usually is like across the board, and it does what I call an aggregate, the average of the average. So the hardest part is knowing that whether or not this is going to make money is, are we dealing with grandma's house? You know, grandma, unfortunately, she's no longer living in the home, and the family decided just to throw it up on Airbnb. It hasn't been renovated in 40 years, but they just want to make a couple of bucks while it's on there. And they don't mind that it's really, really cheap and putting it out for like $40 a night versus, say, a professional host who's trying to maximize revenue for the owner, whether it's through management or arbitrage, but trying to maximize that revenue, trying to provide the best service, and making sure that you have the best information going forward, so that you can make sure you're capitalizing on that property itself. The next thing is you're going to be going after cleaners. This is by far the most important part of the entire journey. And the reason why I say this is that when you take a look at Airbnb, the guest is able to rank a host on six different review categories. Number one at the top, I think they actually put it as number two, but the most important one that they give more weight to is the cleanliness of the space. So you really have to have well-trained cleaners. You can't just expect a cleaner to hire a cleaner who has, 15 years experience to know exactly how to do a turnover with an Airbnb. There's a few different things involved. So if best way to learn is by doing, in my opinion, and learn how to clean your space. So not a speck of lint is left behind, not a hair, not any kind of a drop of liquid anywhere. Any of those different things. If I as a guest found a hair on a pillowcase on the bed, how do I know that the pillow or the bed itself is clean? Like there's a hair there. Maybe they didn't change the sheets. Oh gosh, that's really gross. I'm not going to stay here. And that's the type of attitude some guests will have. So again, this is a customer service role. You have to make sure that cleanliness is by far number one. You want to test your cleaners. I actually do a thorough testing of my cleaners before they actually start cleaning my units after they go live. I do some pre-testing, and then I'll even get them to do some spot testing. I even have them work at my own house or other residences, depending on what city that they're in, so I can actually get some feedback and evaluate how clean their work is. So obviously, once you have the cleaner in place and you have your communications with them in place, clean the house. It's the most important thing. You're going to clean it, make sure that this is by far ready and almost like a blank slate, something ready to go. And then the next thing you're going to do is furnish it. And the best part of furnishing, it's like Lego for adults. Not adult Lego. I keep saying that, but that's not right. That's a whole totally different weird thing. But Lego for adults is where you get to build the furniture. It's kind of fun. If you don't have the time, you can hire people. TaskRabbit, Bark.com, different websites where you can hire people. Just put an ad on Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace. There are a lot of people who are willing to put this stuff together, and as long as they follow the directions and build something, following the instructions, you're going to have a great piece of furniture moving forward. A lot of this will come flat packed for shipping purposes. If you are ordering new, if you are getting used furniture, it's already going to be assembled usually, 9 times out of 10. And that's fine. It just saves you on the work. It's just a little bit more cumbersome or to move around. Now, the other part of furnishing is that it's cardboard. Boxes that were in a warehouse, they're going to be covered in dust. They're filled with plastic, paper, screws, bolts, Allen keys, foam, lots of styrofoam, unfortunately. This is a downside of short term rentals, is that, you know, we're not really a sustainable business. There is a lot of waste that goes on. And part of that waste will actually make it into your brand new, freshly cleaned unit. You may think it might be easier just to wait until all the furniture is gone before you clean it. I always try to do the cleaning for two reasons beforehand. Number one, I get to test the cleaner. Number two is I'm working with that blank slate. I could actually have dirt there that I don't know about. And then having a second set of eyes or a second pass on everything could actually reveal, like, say, a cobweb in a window corner that I missed. And you can be rated, like, you can get a 1 star rating from a review just because you have a cobweb. And if they take a photo, that's it. You got a 1 star review. There's no fighting that. So I always say clean it, furnish it, clean it again. Make sure that you go through again after the furniture is in place, because that furniture is going to be big, bulky, it's going to take up everything. And you want to make sure that there's nothing left behind after all the dust and cardboard and paper and everything else that goes along. Uh, then, once you're ready, now you get into the really fun stuff. You get to take photos. There's different ways that you take photos. There's lots of YouTube videos of how to take photos for Airbnb. It is not the same as real estate photos. Um, they even have an option once you go live with your listing. I do photos twice. I do them myself, or someone on my team will take the photos initially, and then I also, once I go live, I allow Airbnb to come in and take the photos. And when that works, the best part is I get to hire a professional photographer who's trained on the Airbnb way, and it actually will attribute for higher uptake on conversion rate in the algorithms that Airbnb uses for turning those lookers into bookers. And then once you have that ready to go, it also they don't charge you up front. They charge you after you get your first guest. So you don't even have to pay for the photography. Your reservations will pay for the photography itself. I'm getting a lot of notifications today. Sorry, everyone. So those photos really an important part, to make sure you're getting it in the best light. Make sure you know what time of day is going to be the most opportune for the property. You might even want to take at 2 or 3 different times a day, including at night, depending on what amenities you might want to show off. You'll want to do everything outside, inside, out front, in behind, whatever you can of the property. The more photos you have, the better it is. The best properties usually have about 20 to 30 photos in a listing. So, not that you're doing duplicates, but if you have some cool artwork, make sure you're focusing on that, not just large, long shots of a room showing everything that's in there, but you also want to see some of the more finer details. Maybe something that you think people will really enjoy in that space. Maybe it's a really high-end espresso machine. Maybe it's a sauna, a whirlpool, what do you call it? Hot tub. Maybe there's a ski slope nearby for the winter community. Maybe there's some kind of dune buggy if you're out in the desert. Like everything that's possible are things that you can take a look at. Um, then you have to write the listing description. Really focus again on the customer journey. You really want to make sure that people are enjoying themselves, knowing how much your space is going to mean to them. Tell them. The best way is to create a story for them to follow. Then you also want to make sure that you're filling out, there's an amenity list. Airbnb will initially ask you some questions about your space, and then they don't ask you again. They won't, but the smart person will see anytime Airbnb will ask you to fill something out, do it, because that will help you get higher up on their search ranking and then get more lookers into bookers. It's a really simple system. Uh, you also want to have your own house rules. House rules are really important, and a lot of people will have, in my opinion, unfortunately, silly house rules, such as no smoking. No smoking is a house rule. Okay, they smoked. What do you do? There's nothing to do. So instead, I find house rules are only beneficial if you actually have a list of fees associated with breaking the rule. I know somebody who says, "Hey, it's legal for a fee." Okay, sure. If you want to smoke, it's a $250 fee plus the cost of remediation. Where I bring out a ozone machine, run it for half an hour, and I'll charge another $200 for that. Um, there's all kinds of different things. Think of anything that you don't want guests to do. You don't want to have a huge list. You have to account for some level of common sense, but staining your sheets and towels, that's a big one. I've been getting more of that, and funny enough, even burning my towels. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. But staining sheets and towels is a common one. So maybe you need a fee for that. I also don't want cigarette butts thrown on my lawn or in my yard. So I ask people to put it out into, I actually provide them with a receptacle now to put out the cigarette butts. But if they just flick it, if I find it right after they're staying, and we usually go through and we photograph everything, uh, we will charge them for that. Um, and then if things are broken, stolen, and so forth, there's some things that you can take care of through Airbnb has air cover, VRBO or Verbo has their own insurance um, program that they have. It's $1 million liability insurance policy that they hold. But you'll want to have your own insurance on top of that because not everything will be covered. And you have to provide all the evidence and proof of all that. So we have all these wonderful house rules. We think it's going to be great. Maybe you do some extra finer touches. You throw out a welcome basket. Maybe there's a little guidebook or a guest book that people can sign their names in. And it's wonderful if you get their email addresses and build up a little email list at the same time. That's, advanced marketing strategies right there. You go live. It's fantastic. It's a wonder. There's like a big firework display when Airbnb does it every single time. It kind of gives me a little chill. I like it. Not the fireworks or the image that they show, but it's just knowing that I have yet another place that's going to go out there and be successful. And then the work really starts. You're dealing with requests, you're dealing with guests, you're vetting the guests, making sure that they're actual guests and not robots. You want to make sure that they're coming for the right reasons. Maybe they're asking for, hey, I only need a spot for Friday night, only for one night, and there's maybe a 3 night minimum booking. Mm, it sounds like a party to me. So you want to stop that stuff. But then you're communicating with the cleaners, letting them know every time that you're going to have a turnover and if you need the cleaner out there. Making sure that all of your inventory is stocked up, your consumables and everything else. You have to go through every single turnover and make sure that everything is still in your house or in your property. um, you're doing all this communication with the guests, with the cleaners, with any other vendors who may be involved. It's a lot of work. So you can do all of that stuff. Or if you have a property and you're just looking to hold it, you can always hire Garnet Wealth and Property Management to help you out. So one thing, as I'm wrapping up, I do want to give you 5 big tips. I think these are some of the most important tips when hosting short-term rentals. Obviously, it goes a lot deeper than this, but I want to make sure I provide some value for you before I leave. Uh, sorry, let me just there we go. Sorry about that. Um, really, it's vetting your guests. More important than anything else, how old is that account? Is it um, uh, brand new? Is it from this month or last month and they have 0 reviews? Always take a look at the reviews. Always read the reviews on any of the guests. I actually require that on Airbnb. I have instant booking turned on, provided that they've already uploaded their government ID and Airbnb has it. I actually have them send it to me anyway because otherwise I won't have it. I also ask them to have at least 3 positive reviews on the Airbnb platform. So they can instantly book if they already have, say, 5 5-star reviews. Great. They're already a vetted guest. They're wonderful. Other people have said great things about them. Nobody actually had any problems. I've actually had somebody who's like, yeah, I'm going to come and have a great time there. And they had a 3.5-star rating. And I'm able to decline that request based on how uncomfortable I feel. And then as long as I state the reasons why I'm not affected, it's only a declination, it's not a cancellation. If I cancel on a stay, that actually has fines attached to it. So we want to be careful with that. Then another part of the Airbnb strategy is learn how to upsell. There are an amazing opportunity here for additional cash flow. You have 3 different parts, I think, of the entire customer journey. You have before they arrive, during their stay, and after they leave. So there's a variety of different things that you can do. For instance, you can offer them a fully stocked fridge. Sure, they can go through Instacart and order and have everything delivered, but if they're coming in off of a flight, they have no idea when they're going to be arriving. Maybe their flight is delayed. They're not going to be able to get that box of ice cream in the middle of July, right? It's going to be ice cream soup at that point. So you can provide some additional benefits prior to them actually arriving. Maybe they're coming for an anniversary and you offer, "Hey, do you want me to surprise your partner with some flowers? Let me know what you would like and I'll make sure that they're in there." Lots of different opportunities. During their stay, depending on where you're at, it could be anything. It could be, hey, just so you know, we actually have, like maybe you have a deal, there's some tickets to a local music concert, or you have restaurants that you have a deal with that you can give them a coupon for. Um, or other ones, maybe you're in a party area. Maybe you're near a university and you want to have the hangover cure package where, maybe you give them some water, some Advil, and a protein bar, something like that. And then after their stay, there's lots of opportunities in order to get that. You can provide them with any kind of knickknack, memorabilia, souvenir of their stay, their time together as a family, especially if it's around some type of major holiday. Lots of opportunities there in order to upsell. You don't want to hit them on the over the head with like a list of 20 different things, but having a few different things will be very beneficial. Uh, Number 3, Airbnb is great. It will provide you at first most of those bookings, but make sure to learn how to get on other platforms. VRBO and Booking.com are easy enough to get onto. There are different platforms with different challenges to navigate, uh, but it will provide you with additional revenue earning opportunities. I know that. Usually if there's a gap in my schedule, I might actually get it filled up with one of those other platforms. And they're great to have as that additional way to make revenue when maybe nobody on Airbnb is actually looking for your place, but people on Verbo are. So always look at other platforms and how to get on there. And there's a number of tools that will actually make it very, very easy for you. And number 4, and I love this, like, you'll never believe number 4. I wanted to make sure I had that sort of headline, work for the reviews. These are by far the most important thing. As I worked in video games for over 20 years, and I've created mobile games, one of the most important things to learn about that mobile game economy is that when you do an activity, you get a coin. But when you do something really hard, really challenging, or you can actually generate a little bit of extra revenue for the developer, you get a gem. And to me, the reviews are the equivalent of that gem. They're more valuable than just getting cash, because if I rent it out at $50 a night, um, a place at $50 a night, and I keep getting the cash, that's great. But as soon as I get those gems coming up, I can actually increase the amount of the revenue that I'm asking for as part of that booking. And I might be able to push it up $5, $7 a month, maybe, and start finding a point where people will stop booking, and then maybe I drop my price. And I had one place, and like I point out here, I had a place where I was challenged to raise my price by over $100. I did it. Within 6 hours, I had a 6 night booking. I made an additional $600. Fortunately, I was learning, and I took that chance, that opportunity to have that risk, and it paid off. And I've never looked back. I've been able to maintain that price and even increase it at different times of the year. So really pay attention to those prices. You can compete for the lowest for the lowest dollar, but that's not where you should be competing. You should be competing on the amenities and the value that you're providing. Take a look at the competition in your local neighborhood, wherever you're listed, and then that will allow you to increase your price, and you're going to be, you know, competing with the top dogs at that point. And last tip here, processes. Make sure you write down everything. You might think, oh, yeah, I'll remember that code for that television, the pin code for it, or I'll remember this lock where I put the key for it. I swear, 2 months, 3 months down the road, it is going to be forgotten. Write down everything. Make sure everybody is that you need to communicate with is fully aware. You might even think that your cleaner might know exactly where everything is. Well, what happens if you have a new cleaner? That the old one is sick and you have somebody to replace them? What happens if, well, they just don't remember where the key is and you didn't write it down? Now you're on a mad hunt with a very limited window of opportunity because you might have a same day turnover. Oh my goodness. How do you clean the place when you can't even get in? So these are all issues that you need to make sure you're writing down, have those processes in place. They will be really beneficial in the long run. And then again, I just want to point out that cleaning team, they are the backbone of your business. Make sure that you have them uh, happy, well fed, doing their job. They have nothing to complain about. They have all the tools required to make sure that the cleaning is going to be done properly every single time. So make sure to take the time to train them and really focus on getting that cleaning to be number one. And I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity, both to Cashflow Tribe and to you, the viewers. I really appreciate you listening to me. I tend to go on about short term rentals. I really have found a passion here. It's something that I really believe in. The cash flow has been fantastic. It's something that I think everybody can get into. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So I wish you luck. And if you do have any questions at all, here's the various ways to get in touch with me through Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I am always willing to listen and to see if I can provide any value. And I do apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. Can't hear you there, Kurt. Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. There we go.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Keith, for spending the time with everybody this afternoon and sharing your story, and also, more importantly, all the tips and tricks for those that want to get into short-term rentals. And as Keith mentioned, you feel free to connect with him on either Instagram, and if you see the kind of scrolling ticker at the bottom, it's Instagram, or one of them is there. You can connect with him there, Facebook, or also on LinkedIn. And Keith is also one of our coaches mentors here with CashFlow Tribe and a member of council. So Keith, once again, thank you and enjoy your afternoon. And I will bring on our second speaker, TJ, in just a moment.
Thank you very much for having me, Kurt.
Thanks, Keith.
All right. See ya.
Okay, everybody. So that was Keith. So just type in chat if you learned something new about short-term rental from Keith. See some thank yous, Keith. Yes, Keith is awesome. All right, and I'm going to introduce our next speaker here in just a moment. Again, like Keith, TJ is a member of CashFlow Tribe as a council member for several years. And TJ actually is from Midland, Ontario, and he invests in Simcoe County and has been investing consistently since about 2017, and bought his first house when he was only 21 years old, and has been a member of council since May of 2020. He's been flipping since he was a kid, from garage sales to cell phones to cars. And I'll let him share where he's banned from and why he chooses to do so. And he actually flipped his way into the neighborhood he and his family live in now, and he owns a pawn shop in Wasaga Beach called Hawkstars. He also was let go from his old job as a mortgage agent after his first fire campaign had so much backlash. He's had a lot of big wins, has been great at raising capital and also networking. And I'm going to bring TJ onto the stream. And TJ, we should have you live now. How's it going?
Good, Kurt. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Can hear you perfectly. And TJ, can you click add stream to your presentation at the bottom? If not, I should be able to do it. If not, I can do it. And let's see.
Did that work?
Here, let's see if that does it.
Perfect. Can you see it?
I can see it. Can you move the slides?
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, with that, TJ, I will let you take over. And just like Keith, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody for having me. Yeah, well, I guess I would touch on before I go right into the slides. I'll touch on the subject there. Yeah, I'm actually banned from one of the car auction places in Barrie, Ontario, because I bought and sold too many vehicles and without a dealership license. So one of those things when he said that I was addicted to flipping stuff, and anything that I could make money on, and I was making a lot of money flipping vehicles, to the point where I got banned from the auction. So yeah, that's a quick funny story about that. But the what I wanted to talk about today, guys, was just the transformation that has happened in my world in the last 2 to 3 years after joining this community. This picture, guys, is a picture of me in the oil fields. This is me covered head to toe in invert. This black liquid, they used to joke and give us an extra $50 a day on our pay because they called it cancer pay. So nobody knew what was in this stuff. It's what they injected in the ground to help lubricate the pipe and whatever. But I was covered in it, and this is what I would do every every month in and out. I did it for 8 years. And every time I left, like it was rotational work. So I had to live in a remote location, drive kilometers in the bush where there was no, cell reception, and just living on location with a bunch of strangers all the time. So it was a one, hell of a journey. I wouldn't trade what I had to do, because this picture is what bought me my first house. So I wouldn't trade it, but it got harder and harder as the years went by. When me and my wife had our first child, I was still in the oil fields, and every day or every hitch I would come back, she would be just this much taller, and I was missing the moments that people really take for granted. I was missing her first walk, her first talk, her first everything, and I didn't have the opportunity to be able to, hold my kid when they go into bed or read them a bedtime story or whatever, because I was busy out grinding and doing what I needed to do to be able to make ends meet. So fast forward to the pandemic, and I was laid off right at the beginning in March 2020, and I didn't have a job to go back to. This was my crutch. I was rotational, so I would fly back and forth, right? Like I said, and I didn't have a job to go back to, so I was just consuming everything that I possibly could to help better improve where I was. I had no job, and I knew I needed to be better. I wanted to be more. I knew how to buy a house. We actually bought and sold a couple houses along the way. I knew how to flip a house and renovate and do whatever. And I just, at that point when I was laid off, I was house broke, and I had nothing, right? And I knew I had like just had a baby boy, and I knew like I had to provide and I had to do something more. So I started consuming, and I ended up coming across the CashFlow Tribe workshop. It was $500 virtual workshop for 2 days, and that's where I jumped on, and from there I was hooked. I knew I had to be around people doing more than I was, and I remember I didn't have any money, and it was like, people don't believe this story, but I literally had maxed out everything I had, and my credit card had $500 remaining on it, and I paid $500 for that workshop at 11:57 that night. Didn't even tell my wife, and I ended up at the end of the workshop. I told her, and she was like, "You're crazy," but this was that got me into the workshop, which opened up my mind and opened up my the ideas, and realizing that I could do what these guys are doing. Like, I just need to learn how, and what are the bestest and best ways and faster ways. So fast forward today, guys. I did over 18 flips with my partners during the pandemic. We did over 500K in wholesale fees. I've done over $1 million in private lending with partners. We just closed on another 21 unit building in Alberta. So we have 67 units now. And I just got into the apartment game 9 months ago, guys. Like, I just, you figure it out, and you just move quick, and you build those relationships. When you're in these groups and you're networking, you build relationships, and you learn how people are doing it better, faster, and bigger, which is crazy. And this is peanuts to what some of these people that I'm around are doing. I'm talking to guys that are doing hundreds of units, thousands of units. It's actually truly inspiring and very humbling that you can that I'm a small fish in these ponds. And I just started going full time in this March 2020. June 2020 is when I joined the CashFlow Tribe, and I learned, and we sent out our first marketing campaign in August, September. So you could say September 2020 was really when I started going crazy into this. I've bought 2 pawn shops now, or 2 buy and sell trade stores, you could say, and started my own franchise called Hawkstars. So Hawkstars is an established franchise now that we can sell stores and partner with other investors on opening them. So that is a huge accomplishment as well that we've done. And me and my business partner, we are probably about 30 days away. I keep saying this, but the lawyers take a long time. But we're 30 days away from starting our own real estate and private equity fund, and we have already raised almost 25 million in soft commitments, ready for when this fund is live. And guys, like I just said, I just started. Like we just started going full time in this September 2020. So there is a huge point where you can start at any time, guys. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in your life or how old you are or how young you are. You can start now, and you just need to learn how to do it better and faster and get around people and other people's networks, because their networks and what they're doing helps rub off on you. It helps inspire you, and it helps, like, when you surround yourself with people who are just killing it in the industry, you're going to learn some things. So yeah, on this, guys, if again, just like Keith said, he wants to leave value. So I want to give you guys some value, as I don't want to just brag about what I've been doing. I lead with that to show you that this was me, guys, as an inspiration to show that this is possible. And here's some the three things that I could give the most value on right now to be able to help show you guys that this is possible. So the one thing that I've been doing the most of over the last 2 years that has gotten me from here to here is what I would call the power of conversations. I've been having so many unbelievable conversations with people about their story, about what they've done, who they know, what they know. And I've just been learning and creating relationship after relationship after relationship. And these relationships are what has gotten me from where I was to where I am now. These relationships are what gave me the opportunity to be able to buy a flip, to be able to buy 3 flips at the same time, to be able to buy 7 flips at the same time, to be able to buy 67 units at the same time. Like, these are the relationships that I've been able to build, but also, show that I'm somebody worth investing in. And then to this day, I'm getting messages now that I've from other investors I've done business with that have paid back and gotten returns, to reaching out to me, being like, "What's the next investment? What's the next investment? Let's go!" Right? Because I've shown that I can do it, and I've led with integrity and ethical, and been able to really prove that we're a solid choice to be able to partner with. So conversations, guys, this is so important. And what I find myself when I just had a mentee call with another individual from CashFlow Tribe was, what are you tracking as your KPIs in the day for your business? Everything you're doing should be considered your business, and in your business, you need to track metrics to be able to see if you're moving the needle to be able to create revenue. So KPIs, guys, are metrics to be able to track. And the metric I love tracking is, how many conversations are you having in a day? How many conversations do you have that are truly moving the needle? And how many conversations are you not, right? And a lot of people say, yeah, I've done a lot today, but did they network with that right individual? Did they have that conversation with them, the potential money lender? Did they have the conversation with the potential contractor that they needed to be able to do X, Y, and Z? So one thing I encourage you guys to do is to have more conversations in your business, because this is how you accelerate. Is you hear it all the time, your network is your net worth. Well, how do you grow your network? Is by having conversations. When I started in March 2020 and I found CashFlow Tribe, I created an Excel spreadsheet of every single person that I talked to and what we talked about, because I have a horrible memory and I wanted to make sure that I knew what we talked about and that I'd be able to follow up. I set up a follow-up date. I wrote down exactly where I connected with them and other details that I could learn, so that it was up front and center when I reached back out to them or we connected for the second time. So these are just little tricks, but let me tell you a story of why these conversations are so crazy. And this just happened last week. So last week, my business partner, who's literally just a raising capital machine. I couldn't be able to do any of this other stuff without him. But he was out having breakfast at a local breakfast franchise that's in Barrie, and he's having whatever with his fiance. He's eating, and he's all of a sudden he sees somebody, like, he looks like he's behind the counter serving drinks, but he's a little bit too much dressed up, and he's like, it just doesn't seem like he belong, like he's should be doing that job. And so he goes and strikes up a conversation. Well, guess what? This guy is the actual franchise owner of this entire establishment. So he wasn't just the guy serving the drink. He wasn't just the waiter or the waitress serving the food. He was literally the owner of the entire franchise. And the reason why I'm bringing this story up is, at that point, obviously it's crazy. It's a breakfast house. The place is packed. He was able to build enough rapport where he was like, let's get on another call when you're not so crazy and working. And I'd love to talk to you about real estate or whatever journey, like, or whatever he wanted to talk to. He ends up connecting with him again. And at this point, we think he's become he's become an investor in our fund when it's going to be up and running. But what's crazy, guys, is this conversation would have never happened if he just sat there and finished his meal and left. He took it upon himself to go over on a random Sunday, talk to a random stranger, and have a conversation. And that conversation could be worth millions. But not only that, the network of this person that we interact with, that he interacted with, is phenomenal, right? So take that story and realize, like, you don't know who you're going to be talking to, and you don't know where they're going to be, right? If you would have talked to me 2 years ago, I was a nobody. I was, I just got laid off from out west, and I had nothing to my name. But I guarantee you, everybody who knows me now, I'm a powerful relationship to have in their industry. I want to help people so much, and I want to give value back. So, but again, and imagine where I'm going to be in 10 years. And that's how I treat it when I talk to people now. You never know where they're going to be. Try and give value, try and lead with integrity, try and help people in a way that you can, and hope that, or not hope, but hope that you're going to help them in some way. And don't lead with the idea of getting something in return. Because these people that I connected with, there was never anything to get in return. My partner did not talk to this guy to get something in return. He just struck up a conversation, and he genuinely enjoys talking to people. So yeah, that's superpower number one is power conversations. And then the next superpower, guys, is the power of posting. Okay, so this is again what everybody hates. Everybody hates posting on social media and talking about what they're doing, and it just seems like such a burden. And, like, the guys who are doing it, they're doing it a lot. And even myself, it was hard to get into this game. I remember deleting my entire Facebook because I cared too much about what people thought of me. And I remember taking 4 hours to remake my whole Facebook and add people that I thought cared about me enough to want to hear what I'm doing in my world right now. And I've out of whatever, a couple hundred friends I had on Facebook, there was only 2 people that I didn't want on my Facebook. And I created a whole new Facebook just to, like, not have these 2 people because I cared so much about what they thought. And it was just so silly to me now that I look back, because I could have, could have just blocked them. But 2, I had it in my mind that it's so bad posting. Like, what are they going to say? They're going to talk about me. They're going to run rumors. They're going to do this. None of that matters, guys. The post is meant to amplify your message, and amplify the ability for you to have more conversations. Because if you can have more conversations, you're going to have more conversations with more powerful people, more people doing stuff in your industry, more solid assets and people that you can build relationships with that can help evolve your business. If you can do that at an accelerated rate through posting, you're going to be able to snowball. Like, guys, the people who are following me, I started going deep in this 2 months ago. Okay, like 2 months, I really started amplifying this. I hired some help. I started recording videos. I started doing stuff, and we had a video go hit 8,000 people on an Instagram reel, and it might not seem like a lot, but to me that was a lot. I went from, you know, maybe having a couple hundred people on Instagram to almost 1,000 now. Because of that one video, I was able to reach 8,000 people with my message. Now imagine if that message was, hey, I'm looking for a JV partner in my apartment building I just bought. Or maybe that message was, hey, I'm looking for a partner in X, Y, and Z business I'm starting. Or, hey, I'm looking for whatever, right? And imagine like you be able to hit 8,000 people with one conversation. That's powerful, guys. Like that is insanely powerful. And if you're creating the right audience is when it gets even more powerful. And I'm going to tie a story to this. So I have a lot of you guys might know I just opened my second store for Hawkstars and in Penetang. I wouldn't have this store if it wasn't for the power of posting. I had another investor reach out to me who's now my business partner and who's an amazing, you know, we could say we could built an awesome friendship out of this as well, and we're partners now. And he reached out to me, and we met on a Facebook group, on the CashFlow Tribe Facebook group. That's how we connected. And you want to know what's crazy, guys, is we grew up in the same town. I had no idea that we had all the same relationships, like not same relationships, but we knew the same people in the town. And he was killing it in real estate, and I was killing it in real estate. And we like it was very funny how our paths never connected within the small town, and might never have if we both didn't join the group. And because now that we both joined the group, we now own a store together. And this is the second store I probably would have never opened, but because he was there and he had the location and he had the capital, we were able to, and I had the franchise and I had the people and I had the processes, we were able to join forces and create we've been open for a month, and it's just been amazing seeing the amount of results we've been having. And this came from posting. And this came from posting on an account that had barely any followers, barely any friends on it, guys. But I had a couple friends that I met through the CashFlow Tribe community that I built rapport with, that they were like, he was able to see what my store was from my posting, be able to get excited, worth it to give me a call, worth it to dig deeper and do due diligence and be able to create another store, a store with me. So guys, if that's not inspiring enough to start posting. You're going to attract investors, you're going to attract friends, you're going to attract new allies in your business. And if you're worried about what other people are thinking about you, those people shouldn't even be on your Facebook to begin with, and they shouldn't be in your world, because they say you're the most of what the 5 people around you are. And if you're surrounding yourself with 5 individuals who are putting you down, never got anywhere in life, all they do is watch the news, all they do is put themselves down, and why is me? Woe is me, right? You're gonna be just like them. But if you surround yourself with winners and get in front of the right audience and talk about what you're doing, you have the opportunity to get lucky like I did, right? And you're putting yourself in the position to get lucky by doing these by making these posts. And from there, guys, this all ties together is the power of people, right? This is the how you meet these people is through conversations and through posting. The power of people is what allowed me to be able to do everything I've done in the last 2 years. I've hired over 17 employees since then, guys, and I'm constantly looking at how do I hire the next person? How do I hire the next person? It's become addicting. Each person I've brought into my world has created more and more revenue for me, but also created such an accelerating growth in all of my businesses. And it is getting truly amazing watching it just grow on its own, because I have the people in place to be able to help it grow. And then from there, I've been able to find mentors and coaches to be able to help me learn how to do the bigger, crazier thing, or the better thing, or the faster thing. And I've gone from just, I was running the first Hawkstars by myself. I was the only employee. Then I hired a family member, and then I hired another employee who ended up leaving because I was a crazy micromanager. And then I found the perfect CEO manager that eventually became my COO now. And now the store is running on its own, and it is running at a profit. It's already double the profit margin that I made when I was running at it. And I'm not allowed in the stores now because I disrupt the momentum of what the store is creating. So it's awesome, guys, when you start really finding the amazing people to be in your world, and from there you're able to move with such speed like I've been, and be able to start really working on your business instead of working in your business. And if any of you guys have read that the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant, I love that book, where you move your way from employed to self-employed to business owner to investor. Guys, like, I was able to move down that very, very quick compared to most people. And a lot of people just struggle from getting to employed to self-employed. And I've been able to skyrocket all the way to in some parts investor as well, and being able to acquire these assets I have aside. So guys, these are the 3 superpowers that got me to where I am now, and it's gonna 2023 is gonna be an insane year, and there's so much opportunity in the market right now. It is unbelievable for any investor looking to start. This is unbelievable. Like, if I can make money in the last 2 years, you guys can make money now, because there's going to be a lot of millionaires made over the next 2 years by the amount of deals that are on the market right now. So guys, if you can, the only thing I ask of you is reach out to me and start following my content. Guys, I'm in my studio right now that we just made, and I'm recording. I've been recording all day, and I want to start making more and more value-based videos, value-based posts, anything that I've learned over the last 2 years to help everybody in my world level up. That's what I've been working on. So, and guys, at this point, I've spent a lot of money on coaches and mentorships. We're almost at $200,000 between my companies that I've invested in my mind and in my business and in my coaches and courses. And that seems like a lot, but I'm telling you right now, I've made so much more. So this is when you learn the way to move, when you learn from the best, you're going to start making more money, guys. Right. And I don't just throw this money out the window. This is solid, amazing information that I've learned. And yeah, guys, follow me, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We just started a YouTube and TikTok channel. We have our website, should be live next week. And we're going to be working on a podcast next month, where I'm going to be interviewing other entrepreneurs who have hired coaches and mentors along the way, and how they've leveled up. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, guys, to tie it in, this is my summer with my kids. I was able to drop everything I was doing on the dime. All my businesses are running the way, like, without me, where I can just go on a boat ride or teach my daughter how to do something, like be a soccer coach for her class, hang out with my son, and experience all the moments that I didn't get to have with my daughter. And I'm able to read my daughter a bedtime story every single night. And I'm able to, again, capture these moments and live in these moments, instead of hearing them from my wife at 2:00 in the morning saying, "Hey, guess what? Your daughter just said this," or not. So guys, it's invest in yourself and take these 3 superpowers and get to work. And you'll be able to create the life that you want to live. So.
All right, just wanted to thank you, TJ. Lots of great comments coming in. Again, make sure that you do follow TJ on social media. His Instagram is there for you guys to see, as well as Facebook. Really excited to know that you're launching a podcast. So make sure when that is up and running, you let us know so we can all follow and support you as well.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, you'll see a post of it for sure.
Excellent. And thank you again, TJ. And we're nearing towards the end of our day 1 of the 3-day challenge. A couple quick things that I wanted to share with you guys. First is homework. So as I mentioned earlier, what we want you guys to do is to take a picture of your burning list, what's holding you back, and post it to social media, and make sure you tag us at CashFlow Tribe Canada on Instagram. Okay. So make sure you do that. Again, it's something that all of us as investors, entrepreneurs have to break through. We have to break through uncertainty. We have to break through fear in order to take that next step. So that make sure you do that tonight. Now, the other homework you have is write down your why. Obviously, listening to TJ, he had a very powerful why, and he was grateful enough to show it to us at the end is actually time with his family, time with his kids, being able to give back. So what is your why? And if you're writing down something that is just financial, that is not strong enough. TJ, you can probably agree here that, as investors and as entrepreneurs, not every day is going to be great. You're going to have challenges along the way, right? Yeah. So if you don't have a powerful enough why, you're not going to be able to overcome those challenges and break through to get to where you want to go. So your day one challenge, write down your why and email it to events@cashflowtribe.com. Now, if you do submit this to us, we'll be going through, and this will be how we'll be selecting winners each day for prizes. I'm not going to give away what the day one prize is yet, but I want you guys to do the homework. So make sure you have that in to us before we start tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we will announce the winner at the end of tomorrow night's session and what they will win. And we're doing a different challenge each day to keep you guys engaged, keep you guys moving forward, and to help you build upon the success that you're already getting just from being here live with us. The other thing that I wanted to mention, TJ talked about having coaches and accountability. And one of the things that we've done at CashFlow Tribe, we've introduced a new program, and it is an accountability program. And it is a 90-day program that will help you get to your next deal. So whether you are somebody that has invested already and looking to kind of scale, grow your business, maybe you're moving in a different direction, a different strategy, the accountability will allow you to work within a small group of up to 5 people maximum with one of our coaches and mentors to help you achieve that goal. So for anybody here that wants more information on the accountability program, I'm going to provide you with a QR code up on the screen just as we wrap up. Feel free to click that. It will take you to our page that gives you full details of what the accountability program is all about. At minimum time commitment is 90 days, and it is 2 sessions a week to help you grow your business. And with that, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us on day one. Thank you on behalf of CashFlow Tribe, and we will see you guys tomorrow. We have the pleasure of kicking off with our CEO, Chris Hanna, on talking about why it's important to have multiple streams of income in your life, in your business. So with that, take care, everybody. Again, thank you very much, TJ, and make sure you guys click the QR code up on the screen and have a great evening.